friends, Cole Chance here. Thank you for joining me. And I've been getting some requests for some heated practices, something a little bit more powerful. So I put on my girl power shirt. You can do this if you're a guy as well. But this will be a stronger, spicier practice. So first thing, I really encourage you, and this is such a big part of the yoga practice, to take what you can and to leave the rest. So don't judge the success of this practice based on how it looks compared to me or what you were able to do today versus yesterday or the next day or whatever. So a big part of the practice is showing up in our body and being with whatever is there. Knowing that we're always shifting, everything's always a little bit different. We take what we can, we leave the rest, we find what is resonant in our own body and our own practice. This isn't easy because this means that we have to stop comparing. This means we have to kind of let go of the envy and the criticism. And these are things that a lot of us have done for a while and they're pretty embedded. So I invite you to watch that through the practice and just let this be a joyful flow. I have some gratitude for the body, gratitude for this practice, hallelujah, and that we get to, explore in it, on the mat and off the mat. Beautiful. Let's close the eyes down and we can sit either cross-legged or up on the shins. Close your eyes down and bring into your awareness some gratitude for this practice and what it gives you, what it allows you to have space for. And even if you're just beginning, just gratitude to have this practice, to explore the body, to explore the mind, and to take some time for ourselves on our mat. I always resonate with four corners of my mat being this like magic carpet, this self-care check-in space. And yeah, it continues to be that for me. I'm just so grateful. So we'll lead with that. We'll lead with gratitude and we'll move from that space. Deepen in your breath. Finding a steady breath, we'll take through the sequence. And remember, whenever things get a little bit spicy, we tend to hold the breath and we want to honor the breath first and add the movements after. So if we have to sacrifice the breath or the movement, always sacrifice the movement. Always welcome to come back to a seat, to sit still, stand still, child's pose. Come back to the breath. Stay in the breath. Whatever you need to do to come back to that. Hands to heart center. Press hand into hand. So we'll use lots of this activation here, this pressing one into another. So press the hands firmly into one another, so much so that you can feel the shoulder blades come together on your back. Press the heart center into the thumbs and the thumbs back into the heart center. So these places where things are touching, it is a proprioception. Helps our body know where it is in space. It also gives us strength. And in yoga, it's a kind of a bandha. Bandha meaning a lock. It is a place, can also be thought of as a bandha. Not the traditional bandhas, but these spots of stability. And we begin to move. Fully exhale. And inhale, arms wide, gaze follows up until the hands touch, and exhale firmly, hand into hand as it comes to heart center. Again, inhale, lift, move with resistance. So it's like you're pushing up through a bunch of honey. Exhale, hands to heart center. Again, inhale, lift up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Take the right hand, plant it down onto the ground, and we're going to take the left leg out. Left arm comes up. Roll the shoulders back, heart center forward just slightly, and really press down the left sole of the foot here. Lengthen the tailbone down towards the heel. So we're engaging the core. Next, inhale, we're going to lift up. Left hand slides down the left leg. Right arm comes up and over. Again, shoulders roll away from the ears and together. Maybe turn the top hand down and reach to the pinky finger. Beautiful. One more inhale here. And exhale. Right hand comes back down onto the ground. Left leg lifts up. Left arm, bring it all the way up by the ear. So you can stay here, beginning to build a little bit of heat. You can also bend the leg and grab for the foot. So two different things. You can grab for the foot and you can take a stretch, a quad stretch by pulling the leg in, or you can kick into the hand and pull back the foot as well. So that equal opposition is still here. One more inhale. And exhale wherever you are, coming back to sitting on the knees. And just take a couple spirals in the torso and we'll switch sides. Take the left hand down, right leg comes out. Plant the sole of the foot all the way down, root down through the foot. Left arm, right arm comes up and over. So the shoulders kind of want to roll in, especially this bottom shoulder. Roll them down and back so the neck has room. Right palm comes down, reach through the pinky finger here. Engage the core. Next, inhale, we're going to lift the torso up slowly and then bring the right arm down. Left arm comes up. Same thing here. Lengthen the tailbone down. Engage the core, and you can do that by pulling the belly button to the spine. You can also think about as if you were going to curl the pubic bone towards the belly button. So whichever one of those cues work for you. Just getting at the same thing. One more inhale. And exhale, left hand comes down. And we're going to shift the weight, shoulder over the wrist. Left shoulder over the wrist, right leg comes up, right arm reaches out. So you can stay right here, or you can begin to bend the leg. All of these are really strong options. They're just a little bit different. So whatever feels, wherever you want to go, maybe switch it up. The next time you do this class, one more inhale, and exhale wherever you are, coming back into a seat. And take a couple more spinal curls, spinal spirals. And we meet in downward facing dog. So gaze at your hands, really press down through the finger pads, root the hands, the fingers, the knuckles down. Slight lift on the middle of the palm. From the elbow down, you're going to have a little bit of an internal rotation. So it's like the hands will dial towards each other just a little bit. From the elbows towards the shoulders, there'll be an external rotation. Bend the knees as much as you need. Press the ground away with the hands and send the hips back towards the back of the room. Couple rounds of breath here. Beautiful. Inhale, the right leg lifts up. And exhale, knee to nose. Press the ground away so you have lots of space from the heart to the floor. Inhale, up and back. Reach, reach, reach. And exhale, knee to the left elbow. Hold here for one breath. Gaze is a little bit forward. Exhale here, stay. And inhale, up and back. Exhale, step all the way through in between the thumbs. Begin to gaze forward a little bit. Bend the back knee just slightly. Press down through the feet to lift up. Arms can kind of go back and up. This will open the heart a little bit. Again, bend in the back knee just a bit. And again, you can think about that pubic bone curling up to the belly. Yes, one more inhale. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, elbows lift up and over. We twist towards the right. The left elbow will hook on the outside of the left knee. So taking a twist here. Now press the thigh into the elbow back into the thigh. Think about the tailbone reaching down towards the back heel and the back of the neck, crown of the head reaching forward. So big, long line of energy there. Maybe you can even twist the torso so that the thumbs touch the sternum presses back into the thumbs a little bit. One more inhale. And exhale, plant the hands, step forward and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. So the hands can be on the ground. They can also come up to the shins. The purpose of this pose, we're going to lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Twice more. Inhale, halfway lift. Press the hands into the shins or down onto the floor. And exhale, fold. This time we're going to press down into the feet, lift all the way up. Gaze follows the thumbs. And exhale, hands to heart center. Beautiful. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, bend in the knees as you fold forward. Arms can be wide or come down center. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, plant the hands. We're going to step back plank pose. A couple of rounds of breath here. So roll the shoulders away from the ears. The heels are reaching back. Crown of the head is reaching forward. Pull the belly button towards the spine just slightly. And the gaze is going to be about a foot in front of the hands. So notice what it feels like if you look down at your thumbs. That feels not near as strong. And then roll the shoulders back and then gaze forward instead. Beautiful. Shift forward onto the toes and come all the way down to the belly. Untuck the toes. Inhale, come up into a low cobra. Back of the neck is long. And exhale, fold down. Next, inhale, high cobra. So press into the hands. Elbows stay bent. Shoulders roll back into high cobra. Belly engaged. And exhale, fold. Either of those options are available. Or we come up into upward facing dog. Roll the shoulders back, press into the hands. We're going to lift all the way up to the tops of the toes. Heart center reaches forward. Belly is engaged to protect the low back. And press the ground away, downward facing dog. So any of those are open to you. Beautiful. Inhale, the left leg lifts. Exhale, knee to nose. Press the ground away, really arch the back here. Inhale, up and back. And exhale, knee to the right elbow. Stay here for a round of breath. And inhale, tripod. Exhale, step all the way through between the thumbs. Gaze begins to come forward. Slight bend in the back knee and press down into the feet to lift up. Let the arms come back and open. Beautiful. Lengthen the tailbone down just slightly. Pull back on the left hip crease to square the hips. Exhale, hands to heart center. Begin to twist towards the left. Inhale, elbows come up, and exhale, we take a full twist. Elbow to the outside of the knee, thigh presses into the elbow. Pulling back on the left hip crease. The sternum can move towards the thumbs and the thumbs towards the sternum. Ooh, this feels good. Good hurt. One more inhale. And exhale, gaze down, plant the hands. Take a big step up. Right foot meets the left, halfway lift, inhale. And exhale, fold down. Again, inhale, half lift, hands to shins or to the floor. Exhale, fold it down. Slight bend in the knees as you press down into the earth to lift up. And exhale, hands to heart center. Close the eyes down. steady breath. Notice the sensations, pulses, vibrations, all of the aliveness in the body, all of the prana. Inhales are lengthening the back of the neck, crown of the head, and exhales are grounding the feet into the earth. Turn the palms forward slightly. And we move. Inhale, gaze the arms up. Gaze the arms up, move the arms up, and the gaze. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back into plank pose. 3 rounds of breath here. Dial the hands towards each other a little bit so that they are one left hand's dialing clockwise, right hand's dialing counterclockwise, so they're kind of dialing towards each other. Remember that the gaze is a little bit forward. The neck is lengthening. One more inhale. And exhale, come all the way down on to the ground or chaturanga. Inhale, choose your heart opener. High, low, cobra, or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Inhale, come to the toes. Exhale, bend the knees as you gaze forward. Send the hips back. And we're going to step or jump towards the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale, bend the knees, press into the feet to lift up. And exhale, hands, heart center. Beautiful. We're going to do 2 rounds of sun salutation. And you can jump back into chaturanga if that's in your practice. Otherwise, step back into plank and come down into chaturanga or to the belly. Yeah. Fully exhale. Inhale, lift the arms, gaze up. Exhale, slight bend in the knees as you fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to plank pose, or you can jump back into chaturanga. Come down to the ground if you're in plank. Inhale, high, low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, hips move up and back, downward facing dog. 1 breath in. Full breath out. Inhale to the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, gaze forward, and you can step or jump to the top of the mat on your next inhale. Finish that inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold forward. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale, press and lift up, and exhale, hands, heart center. Once more. Inhale, lift, and exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant hands, step or jump back into chaturanga or come down onto the floor. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. 1 breath in. And 1 breath out. Inhale to the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. And inhale, step, jump to the top of the mat. Finish the inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold it down. Inhale, press and lift all the way up. And exhale, hands, heart, center. Release the hands. We'll stand in Tadasana, so slightly separate the feet. Root down through the feet, all 4 corners of the feet. Really feel that engagement, especially on your exhale. And inhale, lift through the crown of the head, through the back of the neck. Exhale, ground down through the feet. Inhale, lift the kneecaps. Lift the belly in and up just slightly. And exhale, down through the feet. Inhale, roll the shoulders back just a little bit as the heart center moves forward. Again, lengthen the back of the neck, and then exhale, ground down through the feet. Beautiful. Take the hands to heart center, come back to that sliver or big slice of gratitude. I'm just thankful for this practice. And we begin to move again. So inhale, lift the arms up, and we're going to bring the weight into the right foot and lift the left leg up as well. So one leg mountain here. And exhale, we're going to begin to step back. So bend the standing leg, and we're going to step back into a crescent lunge. So you want to place the foot down, not in train tracks. In train tracks, not in a straight line. Does that make sense? So if the feet are in a straight line, you'll have a lot less balance. So we want to set the foot down into train tracks here. Beautiful. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're going to tip forward just slightly and begin to shift the weight forward into a warrior three. So we're going to bend the front leg and press up into warrior three. Take your right thumb, press back on the right hip crease just a little bit. Hand back to prayer pose. Engage the belly. Again, bend the standing leg just a little bit. We come back up into one leg mountain. Hands come up. Exhale, begin to shift back. Leave the hands up as the left leg comes back, the foot comes down, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands to heart center. We're just practicing this transition here. Inhale here, open the heart. And exhale, begin to shift forward. Next, inhale, press into the right foot, coming into warrior three, lift the left leg up. Again, now maybe this time you just think about pulling back on the right hip crease. Now bend in the standing leg, arms come up, left leg comes up. Left or right hand comes to the outside of the left leg. So like we did with the elbow earlier, we press the elbow into the leg back into the elbow. We're going to do that with the hand, and it is going to help us twist open. Maybe you gaze towards the left. Maybe you gaze back towards the thumb. We're going to step back into a warrior two. So begin to release the left knee and take a big step back. Maybe it's graceful, maybe it's not. I have to step back just a little bit more and find some buoyancy and sink low. So we've been to that right hip crease now. Now think about pulling back on the right outer hip crease here. Evenly ground through both feet. Roll the shoulders back and reach out. So from the elbows to the shoulders, the energy is pulling in. You think about energy arrows, energy is pulling in. From the elbow out, the energy is reaching out. So we're holding those two opposites. Beautiful. Left hand comes behind the back. Maybe it grabs for the front of the right thigh. Come up. This is another maybe. Come up onto the toe. We're going to reach back into reverse warrior. Sink the hip low, a little bit lower. And then exhale, place the foot down, straighten the front leg, and we're just going to reach forward. Yeah? Inhale, begin to tip back, bend the front knee, reverse warrior. Maybe you come onto the toes. And then exhale, plant the heel down, reach forward. Yeah? Once more. Inhale, begin to come back up, reverse warrior. Maybe the heel lifts. And exhale, plant the heel down, reach forward. And now the right hand comes down onto the shin, the block, or the floor for Trikonasana. So the hand, if it's already bound, you can keep it there and take a bound triangle pose, bound Trikonasana. Let's check in with the shoulders. Roll the shoulders away from the ears, scapula towards each other. Remember to breathe here. The tailbone reaches down towards the back heel. Maybe the gaze is up or maybe it's forward. What feels good in your body? Once more, begin to bend into the front leg. Reverse warrior. Come all the way up and back. And exhale, plant the hands down. We're going to come into Vashisthasana on the right side. So you're going to bring the right leg, plant it on top of the left leg, and open up the top arm. Another option is that you bring the left knee down, bring the right foot back. So here's a modification. So either one. Spiral the heart open. One more inhale. And exhale your version of chaturanga. Maybe you come to the knees. Maybe you come all the way down to the belly. But on an exhale, we lower. On an inhale is a heart opener, your choice. And an exhale, downward facing dog. Take a full round of breath. Inhale to the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Inhale, step or jump to the top of the mat and finish your inhale in that halfway lift, extending the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Slight bend in the knees, press into the feet to lift you all the way up. Lots of strength in that transition. And exhale, hands to heart center. Beautiful. We're going to put the weight into the left foot now. So inhale, lift the arms up, the right leg lifts. So we'll probably be different on each side. This is my much less balanced side, much less balanced. I don't know if that makes sense, but just note that you are not alone. Most all of us are uneven. So one more inhale here. We can leave the arms up, begin to bend the standing leg, or we're going to reach the foot back. So it's interesting to do it without looking. So we're creating some new patterns there. Into crescent lunge. Back knees bent just a little bit. So now you can take your left thumb to the left hip crease and see what it feels like to pull back a little bit. Does it square the hips more? Maybe it doesn't, but check in. Exhale, hands to heart center. Begin to shift forward. Put the weight into the left leg and come into warrior three. So lift the right leg up. Notice the difference if the hands are just hanging or if they're in prayer pose. Adds that proprioception, the more strength. Now bend the standing leg and we're going to come up, lift the torso up. Arms can lift. Beautiful. Exhale here. Inhale. And exhale, big step back. So you kind of tilt forward, reach the right foot back, plant it down, open up the heart. Slight bend in the back knee, pull back on the left hip crease. This will square the hips. Inhale. Exhale, hands, heart center. Begin to lean forward. Shift the weight forward. Next inhale, press down through the left foot to lift up through the right. Again, now you can mentally think about pulling back on the left hip crease to square the hips. Slight bend in the standing leg. We're going to bring the torso up. Arms lift. Exhale, left hand comes to the outside of the right knee and we twist, spiral the heart towards the right. Maybe the gaze goes back, maybe it doesn't. I know that the left leg's getting tired. We're just bringing in that strength and playing at the edge. Now we're going to come into a warrior two here. So release the leg. Again, maybe it's graceful, maybe it's not. Right leg reaches back. It's going to find the mat. If you need to extend it longer once you get there, that's completely fine. Warrior two. Bring your awareness to the outside of the left hip crease, pull back. Equally press down through both feet. Arms come up. From the elbows in, pull in. All the way so the scapula are pulling towards each other. From the elbows to the fingers, reach out. Make this pose really strong here. Beautiful. Right hand goes behind the back. Maybe you can place it down if that wasn't comfortable on the other side. You can place it just behind the back or down the leg. If you can, reach all the way around and grab for the inner left thigh. So reverse warrior. Option to lift the back heel and sink a little bit lower. And then exhale, we're gonna plant the heel down, send the hips back, and we're just gonna reach. So every time we're just gonna see if we can reach a little bit farther. Slight micro bend in the front leg. Inhale, come back, bend the knee, maybe come to the toe, reverse warrior. Exhale, reach. Extending the spine on both sides, extending between the ribs and the hips as well. Inhale, slowly come back. Reverse warrior. And coming forward. Now we're going to come into Trikonasana. So we should have quite a bit of length here. So when we're reaching for space between the ribs and the hips on both sides. So when you feel like you can't reach any farther, begin to bring the left hand down. Ooh, it's got a nice crack. You can leave the hand behind the back if you'd like. Roll the shoulders together. Pull the heart center forward just a little bit and lengthen the neck towards the top of the mat. Lengthen the tailbone towards the heel. Check in with your left shoulder. It likes to roll in and up, but roll it back. You can think about like if you were gonna open up a jar with your left hand and you're gonna turn it towards the left. That can really help that adjustment. And we're breathing. Slowly begin to bend the left leg. We're going to come all the way up and back, reverse warrior. And exhale, release the bind, plant the hands down. So your option, you can come into full side plank, Vashisthasana, or bring the left knee down and come into a modification. Wherever you are, it's the same cues. We begin to see the same cues, rolling the shoulders back and down away from the ears. At the same time, reaching, expanding out. So there's often different energies that we need to balance. One more inhale. And exhale. Your version of Vinyasa, Chaturanga. Inhale, high-low cobra or upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Bring the knees down. Bring the heart forward as you gaze forward. Inhale. Exhale, push the ground away. Just a couple cat-cows here. And we normally do this prior, but doesn't it feel good now? It's nice to switch things up. On an exhale, when you push the ground away, separate the fingers and the knees, like as if you were going to press your fingers towards the top of the mat. Really get an extra stretch in the upper back. And then when you drop the belly, pull the heart through, drag the hands and the knees towards one another. Maybe even bend the elbows here. Do this a couple more times. So really enunciate and exaggerate. Pull the belly towards the spine. And then inhale, maybe bend the elbows. Reach the heart forward. Open the throat. And take a seat back, hips to heels. Beautiful. We're going to come into camel pose. But first, close your eyes for just a moment. I want to take 3 rounds of breath and just to feel the prana in the body, the energy, the life force moving, and to slow down the breath. And we'll move from a little bit of a stiller point. And open your eyes back up. And we'll come on to the knees. So a couple different options here. If your knees if it's painful to be on your knees, you can bring, like this is a pretty flat pillow that I can bring underneath. You can also move your mat like this. Roll your mat. Another thing that can help is some people, depending on the geometry of your knee, this will feel better for some people to have the toes tucked. It'll be better for some people to have them like this. Just depends on kind of the angle that your knee hits. So we'll come into a camel pose, and there's lots of different pit stops here. But first, let's all drop the tailbone, lengthen the tailbone, and again, pubic bone towards the belly button, yeah? So we're not curling, we're just finding some length. Bring the hands behind the back as if you're gonna put your hands into jeans pockets. Roll the shoulders back, bring the elbows together, and shoulders drop away from the ears. Now, as if you were going to press your thighs up against the wall, so you can imagine that we're up against the wall. You're going to press your thighs up against the wall and begin to slightly broaden the collarbone as if you were making wider from shoulder to shoulder. So we can think more about opening the heart than back bending here. And this also wants to be up high, not into the low back. Maybe you open up so much, let the gaze go up. And exhale, let's release and come down. That is a wonderful place to practice. It can be very scary and challenging. So some of you, leave it in the comments, you can kind of have a fear response come up. One, we're kind of leaning backwards and we're not looking. That's a big fear response. And then also opening up the heart can really activate some instinctual fear patterns as well. But we learn, this is a perfect place to practice. We learn to breathe, to settle the system, and to kind of push those edges. So if that's happening for you, know that that's quite normal, and we'll just investigate it. Let's come back up. Camel pose, Ustrasana. Bring the hands behind the back. Lengthen the tailbone down. So you can play with the hands if you want them up or down, another thing. Sometimes I'll take the thumbs and take them on my sacrum to help me remember to lengthen. So that's an option too. So play around with it. I'll do it with the hands down again this time. Roll the shoulders back. We're thinking about broadening the chest, like smiling the collarbones. Bring the thighs towards the imaginary wall, and then broaden, 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 broaden. Bring the chin back, and then maybe the gaze opens up a little bit. Maybe one hand comes down to a heel. Come back up and the other one does. Or maybe they both come down. Wherever you are, whenever you come up, you want the gaze to come up last. So you're going to fully bring your torso up. Bring the hands back to the hips. Bring the torso up. And then begin to kind of bring the chin back down, the gaze back down. And go ahead and take a seat again. And I'm going to let you go through this one more time so we know what we're doing. And I'll just kind of give some cues. So if you're ready, go ahead and come up onto the knees. Maybe try another position with your hands. Maybe if you were doing it fingers down, see what it feels like fingers up. Bring the elbows towards one another. Roll the shoulders back. We're going to push the thighs into the invisible wall. Now begin to broaden the collarbones. Broaden, broaden, broaden so much that you may begin to lean back a little bit. Open the throat. You can let the gaze drift up just slightly. And then see where the hands want to land. Maybe they stay where they are, or maybe they expand. Remember to breathe. So this can be like I said, a stressful pose to be leaning back and opening the heart. But we rewrite that by deepening the breath, especially the exhale when we're kind of at the brink of that fear state. So emphasize your exhale, make it long, and when you're ready, you can come out. And just bring the hips back down to the heels. Let the palms be face up in the lap, and notice what's going on in the body. Notice the sensations. Maybe the pulse in the wrist, the heartbeat in the chest. This practice gives us so much to observe on a sensation level, on an emotional level. Curiosity laboratory. And bring your hands to your knees. I'm going to separate my knees just a little bit. Just a few spirals to kind of wiggle it out, shake off anything that needs to be shaken off, or you can think about wiggling in a little bit more, whichever one feels Better. Just this kind of extra organic movement here. And a few rounds of breath. Audible exhale. You can sigh, you can flutter your lips. Inhale. Maybe shake the body. Twice more. Inhale. And once more. Big shake here. Loud sound. And release. Beautiful. Really nice to build up a lot of heat and energy, and then also remember to let it go. Thank you all so much for joining me. Again, my name's Cole Chance. Yeah, thanks for practicing with me. If you're new, then welcome. If you've been here for a while, then thank you. Thank you so much. I'm growing alongside of you and you with me, I hope. If you want to learn more about what I have going on, I have teacher training coming up. I have an Emerge yoga and self-inquiry and recovery program coming up. Just head over to my website, colechanceyoga.com. There's links in the bio and I believe on the page as well. And I'll see you next time. Ciao.